racers, it's Coach Michelle from IronGoat Endurance, and today we're here to talk a little bit about the Game On Treasure Coast Triathlon taking place on July 19th at Jaycee Park on South Hutchinson Island in Fort Pierce. We just want to take a little bit of time to go over some of the race day changes that you might notice, some of the modifications we're making to suit the social conditions that we've got going on there. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the rules, USA Triathlon rules. We'll talk a little bit about some transition tips for those of you that might be a little bit newer at this. And also want to say a big thank you to Willie and her crew, her race staff, for putting on an amazing race in beautiful Fort Pierce. You guys are going to get a great swim in the Indian River, and when you come out, you're going to hit the bike course, and you're going to head south on A1A, quick U-turn, come back. Obviously, the Olympic distance, you're going to be making a couple of trips around that course, and then as you run, you're going to be heading north towards the jetty and making that U-turn, coming back through that short little neighborhood loop and towards the finish line at Jaycee Park. So let's talk a little bit about the race itself. Just to let you guys know, race participation has been capped at 250 registrants. All of the registrations are going to be taking place beforehand, online. There's no cash exchange or anything like that, no race day registration. Packet pickup information is going to be emailed to you. And there will be specific instructions on how that's going to work. Most likely going to be a drive-through pickup type of scenario. In your race packet, you're going to notice you won't see the same amount of promotional type materials. It's going to be more of the essentials that you're going to need. You're going to have your t-shirt, you're going to have your race numbers, you're going to have your swim cap, and you're going to get your timing chip. So we'll talk about all of those things, where they need to go, what you need for when, a little bit later in the video. But when you get your race packet, you're going to need to make sure that those essential items are in there. On race day, race staff would like to observe the social distancing guidelines being put out there. There's going to be signs placed in different areas, especially those areas where we tend to congregate a little bit more. I know we love to have cheerleaders and we love to have spectators, but we need to be very cautious in those areas that it gets a little congested. So just just be aware of what's going on in your surroundings. You'll notice some of the race staff, or all of the race staff, will be wearing masks, and volunteers will be wearing masks and gloves in those high touch areas. You're going to get a lot of hand washing and hand sanitizer stations throughout the transition in the race site. You'll also notice when you come in that transition is going to look a little bigger. We have actually cut down the number of bikes on the racks from 6 to 3. So technically you have double the space because there's going to be fewer participants but fewer bikes per rack. Again, just because there's fewer bikes, don't load all your stuff up. Still stay in your transition area and have yourself set up nice and neat. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. The swim start is going to be more of a time trial or a very small wave participant start. Again, this information is going to come to you via email as you get closer to the race, and pay close attention on race day. Make sure you're at the beach when it's time for that, for the race to start. So if there's any changes, you're right on spot and you're ready to go. For the run course, they're encouraging you to bring your own water bottle. You won't be seeing cups and things getting thrown and crazy stuff going on. If you have your own water bottle that you'd like to carry for that sprint, especially through that Olympic 100%, you need that hydration, you need that nutrition. So you will need to bring your own bottles. Again, more of that information and reminders will be coming to you through email. Pay very close attention. You will need to have your own bottle for that run. Of course, you're going to have your own bottles for your bike. So just make that extra change, add an extra bottle into your bag for race day. When you get to the finish line, might be a little bit different. Your medal will be packaged for you. You're going to come, you'll have a volunteer hand that to you. Feel free to unpackage it, proudly display and wear your medal. That's fine. You're going to notice that food is going to be prepackaged. Follow kind of the guidelines for picking up your food and all of those after the race amenities that they're so great about providing to the athletes. I do want to say that this Treasure Coast Triathlon is a USA Triathlon Florida State Championship for the sprint and the Olympic distances, as well as for high school. So there's no qualification necessary. You don't need to qualify to participate in this event, but it is a qualifier and it is a Florida State Championship for those of you that are interested and going through to higher levels of competition. So again, July 19th is going to be race date. It's going to be held at Jaycee Park, And that swim through the Indian River, you're going to be biking south on A1A. You're going to be running north on A1A. Once you cross that finish line and you're all done, I know everybody loves to go to the timing screens and we love to get our printouts. That's going to look a little bit different this time too. There actually won't be timing screens. There will be a timing trailer, but the director of timing is going to be in the trailer to avoid lots of people coming in. Everything's going to be sent to you via text or email. So again, there won't be timing screens. You won't have that high touch area with people congregating. You're going to be getting your results texted or emailed to you. There is a plan for an award ceremony following, so stay tuned on how that setup's going to be. There should be plenty of space and distancing that race staff will help get everybody set up for. And let's take a look at some of the transition tips. Let's take a look at the swim course. Notice the swim start is on the beach for both the sprint and the Olympic in the same spot. However, for the sprint, you're going to go out and keep the first orange buoy to your right and then make another right turn at the yellow buoy just north of it. For the Olympic, you're going to start from the same spot on the beach, but keep the orange buoy to your left as you begin your course south toward the yellow buoy, where you'll make a quick U-turn and you'll head toward the same yellow buoy that the sprint racers are using before you exit the water into the park. As we look at the bike course, you're going to be biking out of Jaycee Park and heading south onto A1A. Sprint athletes only need to complete one of these loops, and the Olympic athletes are going to make a U-turn in front of the park to head back out for loop number 2. So again, south, then a U-turn. Look for that U-turn in the road. My quick tip would be use your bike computers, keep track of your distance, as well as the roads are marked. We have volunteers at the corner. You don't want to have any mishaps where you miss that U-turn. So even though you know the course and you expect somebody to be there, my tip for you would always be to keep track with what you've got on your bike computer. The run course is going to have you coming out of Jaycee Park, out of transition, and you're actually going to be making a left turn heading north toward the jetty. You're going to be making a U-turn just before the roundabout at Jaycee Park and then making your way back south toward Jaycee Park. Take a look there. There is a right turn into that small neighborhood to add a little extra distance to your mileage. So just after that mile 2 mark, again, looking out for that right turn, heading into that neighborhood, get about an extra quarter mile or so and head right back out. Sprint athletes are going to do one loop of that run course, and our Olympic athletes are going to complete 2 loops of that course. Remember, bring your water and nutrition with you. Water stations will be there as a backup to refill. There will not be single cups for you to grab, so make sure you're coming prepared for that run course. All right, everybody, let's take a look a little bit closer at transition. There's a couple things that I wanted to mention before we get started. When you get your race packet, you're going to get a couple of different numbers. You're going to get a number that's a small sticker that goes on the front of your helmet. You're also going to get a race number. It's going to be a little bit bigger. Most people will wear a race belt these days. If you don't have a race belt, that's okay. You could probably get one at a local bike shop or triathlon shop. Just goes around, makes it a little bit easier through transition. But you can also pull the old safety pin technique and put that on there on the front. The last number you might notice is a little bit smaller number, and this is going to be your bike number. And it'll probably come at you a little bit longer, but you're going to want to fold it. And most often you see it coming around the bike, the seat post. So this is where most of those race numbers are going to go. You can't cut these, you can't alter these according to the USA Triathlon rulebook. So be very careful there. Try to find a place on your bike that it fits. If you're really just struggling to have it fit on your seat post for whatever reason, I mean, you could put it here on the top too, but it's a lot of like flickering, chafing kind of action going on there. Most commonly, you will see that number right here. So I just wanted to go over that really quick. Another thing you'll notice is I have my bike racked by the saddle. So depending on whichever direction, most often you're going to rack it by the saddle, and you want to make sure you rack it so wherever your transition area is, it's very easy to pull it off the rack and to slide it out. Something drop. It's very easy to pull it right off the rack, and then as you pull it off the rack, you can literally just slide the bike right out. No worries there. I have a couple of other things that I've set up here in transition just to make it a little bit more efficient for me to keep things moving a little bit quicker. I have my bike shoes here. They're already unvelcroed and they're opened. Um, I typically don't wear socks. If you wear socks, definitely put your socks on first. I have a mat here, so if you have some dirt from coming up the beach or through the field, you want to wipe your feet off. But I like my shoes to be open, so it's super easy for me to come right in after my swim, slide my feet straight in, pull them on, and strap them up. So I have my bike shoes prepared. They're open here. I also have my helmet is on my bars, so I don't have to keep bending down to get my stuff. I have my helmet unclipped with my straps open, and I have my sunglasses kind of tucked in here, open and ready to go. So when I come in from the swim, I can put my glasses on. I don't have to worry about positioning. I pull my helmet, my strap's already out. It comes right over. I got my helmet snapped. Now remember, you must have your helmet buckled on snapped before you can take that bike out of transition. That is a disqualification penalty if you are not strapped in and buckled up. So remember that. Same goes for when you return the bike in, has to be on until that bike is racked. Okay. So I've got my helmet nice and ready to go. My sunglasses are tucked in there. A couple of other things that I've got set up in here in my transition area is I have my hat or my visor. I've got my run belt, my race belt, and I also have my tennis shoes. Now you might notice here on my tennis shoes, I have I don't have regular laces. Everybody has a little bit different preference for this, but this makes it super easy to slide my feet in and to slide my feet out. So that way there's no shoe tying. And again, there are all different types and all different brands you can get. You can take a trip to the local triathlon or bike store, and I'm sure they can help you out with that. So let's talk about quick transition from each of the disciplines into the next discipline. You're going to want to make sure you give yourself plenty of time to get down to the swim start. You're going to be given a cap designated particular color based on most likely your age group. Make sure you have your goggles, give it a quick spit, rinse it out, get comfortable in the water, get your cap on, get your goggles on, and you're ready to go for your swim. After you exit the swim, and we'll show you a quick little picture of the course here in just a bit. But after you exit the swim, you're going to have a little run up a short beach and through the field. So as you're doing that, great time, take your cap off, take your goggles off. Don't go throwing stuff everywhere. Don't expect somebody to catch up and clean up after you. Keep your stuff in your hand, take it with you. You're going to be running in through transition. Once you get to your transition spot, which by the way, you remember where it is. Take a look at your surroundings, find a landmark, find a light pole, find somebody that brought lots of balloons, find a particular parking space, something that's going to indicate where about your transition state is so you're not wandering through transition. So once you've come in from that swim, you can go ahead and you're going to place your goggles and cap near your stuff. Now, the goal is to get in and out of transition as quickly as possible. Okay, so I've dropped my swim stuff. As I'm getting my sunglasses on, I've got my helmet on. I'm going to clip my helmet so I don't forget. I'm going to clip my helmet, and I've got my shoes open. I'm going to get in here. I'm going to pull those shoes on. Shoes on. You're going to strap them in. Now, you might notice that a couple of people already have their shoes on their bike. That's okay. They've practiced that. If you haven't practiced that, probably don't want to do it on race day. This is a really big helmet. It's not my helmet, but it's strapped, so I'm legal. All right, so I've got my shoes on. I've got my glasses. I've got my helmet, and I'm ready to go. I know that I've already looked ahead of time. I know that transition out, my bike out, is right in front of me. So I have my saddle. I come off, and I'm going to take my bike. I'm going to grab that saddle, and I'm going to walk or jog it right out of transition. Okay? All right, so you've come in off the bike. You've done one loop on the bike, down south, back north for the sprint, 2 loops for the Olympic. You're all set to come in. You're going to keep that helmet on. You either have taken your shoes off and left them connected to the pedals if that's what you practice, or you're kind of tiptoeing through on your cleats on your bike. So you're going to make sure that you're racking your bike in the same place that you took it from, because that's where all your stuff is. You got to make sure you get everything. My bike is now racked. I'm going to unclip my helmet. I'm going to place it here, or you can just place it on the ground. When I place it on the ground, quick unstrap. I've got my other tennis shoes ready to go. I'm going to slide those shoes on. Okay. Your heart rate's going to be going. Oh my gosh, your feet are going to be sticky. Those are all okay things. Get it adjusted. It's not worth the blisters for the extra 2 seconds. Get your shoes on. I grab my hat, I grab my race number, and I take off. Okay. Wow, well, you got to wear your number. I know I got to wear my number. In efficiency, I could put my hat on as I'm going out. I'm running out, grabbing some water. I can take my race belt as I'm working my way out. I can jog. I can strap it on. I'm good to go. I've got my hat, got my glasses, got my race belt here, my number displayed in the front, and I got my shoes on. I've taken a little sip of water. I have my water bottle, and I'm off to go. I'm going to head out of that park, and I'm going to make that left-hand turn, and we're going to head north toward the jetty. Okay, so quick transition. Bike it in, rack it in the same spot, helmet off, shoes off, a little trade on the shoes, grab that race number. Now, some people say, well, why don't I just put my race number on when I get on the bike? Okay, you can do that. That's fine. I would highly encourage you to move the race number to the back. As far as body markings, I believe that it would probably be a good idea maybe if you self body mark for this particular race. I know that there probably will be some available, but again, we're trying to reduce those high touch areas and that one-on-one contact. So it's okay. Race staff is totally fine if you self body mark. Just double check that you are marking in the correct spots. But once you're on the bike, you might want to put that tag in the back, because as you're riding, this is going to be making a whole lot of noise and it might kind of get irritating. But it's already on there. So for the run, it's one less thing you have to worry about. You just flip it to the front. That's going to be your bike to your run. As you are coming through that finish line, remember again, you'll get your finisher's medal. You'll go ahead and get your prepackaged food. You're going to cool off. It'll probably be a nice warm day. Bring your water bottle with you for the run. If you wear a belt, if you have a handheld, no spectator athlete interaction. So you will need to make sure you have your hydration and nutrition with you. Again, check your email for more specifics on that. And as far as any other tips, if you have questions or you're wondering in any particular specific scenario for you that you'd like to ask me about, please feel free. You can email me at igendurance@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You could check out our website, irongoatendurance.com. Whatever you need us to do, we're here to help you out. IronGoat is very happy to be a part of this race. And once again, we want to say thank you to the Game On staff for letting us be involved in such a really great race. And we hope you have an awesome time. And I'm not going to say good luck. You don't need luck. I just want you to have some fun out there. So have a great race.